Welcome to the biology online classes. Children, we were studying the chapter diversity in living organisms, and we have been studying different phyla of animal kingdom from Porifera, isn't it? Then Coelenterata, then Platyhelminthes, Nematoda, then annelids, arthropods, mollusk, Echinodermata, etc. All these phyla, till what we have studied, they are coming under a group known as non-chordates. Okay, so non-chordates means what? They are not having a notochord. What is notochord then? Notochord is a rod-shaped structure. Okay, rod-like structure present on the dorsal side of the body. Understood? So these organisms are not having notochord, then there will be a nerve cord. Our spinal cord is present where? Inside our vertebral column, isn't it? So all these features are not there in this all organisms. Okay, now the new group or the next group, we can classify them as chordates. Okay, so till now whatever phyla we completed, they are known as non-chordates, and now onwards we are going to study about the chordates. Okay, so chordates is again divided into protochordates and vertebrata. Okay, so protochordates are organisms where you can see what they are having bilateral symmetry. Do you remember what is bilateral symmetry? The body is divided. Body can be divided into two equal halves only through a single plane, and they are triploblastic and they are having a coelom. Okay, then another important feature of this protochordates or chordates are, I told, they are that is they are having a notochord. Okay, a special feature known as notochord, at least in some stages of their life. Understood? So what is notochord? It's a rod-like support structure. Okay, that is found in the dorsal side of the body. Okay, that runs along the back of the animal, separating the nervous tissue and the gut. Gut is what? The alimentary canal, that is the digestive system is having what is known as, or the alimentary canal is known as gut. Okay, so there will be a rod like structure that separates the nervous tissue and the gut. That rod like structure is known as notochord. So the important feature of all the chordate is what? They will have notochord. Okay, they will have a notochord, and this notochord, it is not compulsory in that should be present all through the life. At least in some stages of their life, if the notochord is there, then that are coming under chordates. And now we are especially talking about protochordata. Okay, so in protochordata, you can see the notochord will be present at least in some stages of their life cycle. Okay, or in their lives. Understood? Then they are not having I told the notochord all through their stages. Okay, or through the entire length of the body. Means in some organism this notochord is present only in the talar region. Okay, and in some other organism they are found all through the body, means from the head to the tail it may be there, and in some organism it may be present only in the talar region of the larval stage. Understood? So notochord is a must to consider an organism under protochordata. But what is the speciality? This notochord, it is not necessary that it should be present all through the life or all through the length of the body. Okay, so in some organism it may be found only in the talar region, and in some organism it may found from the head to the tail. And it is not compulsory that it should be present all through their life, from the beginning or from their when they are forming or to the death. It may not be present. In some, it may be present only in certain stages of their life. Understood? So like this it varies. They are marine organisms, and examples are Balanoglossus. Okay, it's actually a worm-like organism. Can you see the picture of this worm-like? It looks like a worm with its proboscis. Okay, the body part is having different structures called proboscis, then collar, and the trunk. Understood? So like this it is divided. So this organism, then what else? Other examples of protochordates are Herdmania, Amphioxus, etc. Okay, so diagram of Balanoglossus is given, and it's an example for Protochordata. Okay, so about Protochordata you understood, it's a kind of what only? So the next group of chordates are vertebrates. Okay, so vertebrates means they are coming under chordates only, but in them the notochord is getting converted to a true vertebral column. Okay, so these are having vertebral column and an internal skeleton. Okay, so this is the importance of what? Vertebrata. They are having notochord in their earlier life, and then it will be getting converted to vertebral column, and they will have a internal skeleton. Okay, so vertebrates, when you see, they are bilaterally symmetrical, okay, triploblastic, coelomic, and segmented with complex body tissues and organs. Okay, so remember, bilaterally symmetrical means the body can be divided into two equal halves only through a single plane. Triploblastic means 3 germinal layers are there, isn't it? Coelomic means coelom is there, body cavity is there, and the body cavity is lined by the mesodermal tissues. Okay, and they are segmented. Then other features of chordates are they are having a notochord that is later changed into what? Vertebral column, and they are having a dorsal nerve cord. What is our okay? We are belonging to what? Human beings are belonging to vertebrata, isn't it? We are having a dorsal nerve cord. What is our dorsal nerve cord? We are having spinal cord, isn't it? Spinal cord is the dorsal nerve cord. Dorsal means which side? Back side. Okay, and the ventral side means our front side. Okay, they are triploblastic, I told, and they are having paired gill pouches. Okay, what do you mean by paired gill pouches or gill slits? They are having. Have you seen the fishes? They are having what? Gill slits like this. Okay, so and this will be always paired. So this kind of gill pouches, paired gill pouches we can see. Okay, and they are coelomate organisms. So I told the chordates are divided into protochordates and vertebrates. Okay, so the characteristics of both we have studied now. And vertebrates are having different classes like cyclostomata. Okay, what are they? Cyclostomata is the first class. Okay, and the speciality of this is they are jawless vertebrates. Jaws are there in which teeth is present, isn't it? So this kind of organisms are or they are not having jaws, so they are known as what? Jawless vertebrates. Okay, and their body is elongated, fish like. Okay, fish like body they are having, and they are having a circular mouth. Okay, circular mouth will be there, with which actually most of them are parasites. Okay, and they are attached to the host with the help of this circular mouth, and they are not having scales. Scales are absent in them. If they were fishes will have what? Scales. So you can say that these are when we consider evolution, these were the animals they formed before fishes. Okay, so somewhat fish like body they are having, but when they means when we consider the scales, they are not having scales. Okay, and I told they are ectoparasites. Ectoparasites means which are seen attached to the outside part of the body of the host. Okay, or they are externally found. Examples are petromycin and myxine. What are they? Petromycin, see the diagram is there. Petromycin and myxine are examples of cyclostomata. So what are the characteristics of cyclostomata? They are coming under what? Vertebrates, isn't it? So they are jawless vertebrates. Jawless vertebrates, only one class is there, that is Cyclostomata. Then they are having a long body with circular mouth. Okay, scales are absent. They are mostly, I told, they are ectoparasites. Ectoparasites means which are living on the host organism. Okay, externally on the host. Okay, and examples of them are petromycin and myxine. And the next class is Pisces. Okay, so these are actually the classes of fishes. They are aquatic, and they are strictly aquatic. Okay, Pisces are aquatic organisms, means what? They are found in water. And the speciality, when you see, their body is having what? Scales or plates. Okay, scales are there in their body, scales or plates. Okay, and they obtain oxygen, means oxygen they take from the dissolved the oxygen which is dissolved in water is taken by them using gills. So what are the respiratory organs in them? Gills. Okay, and when you see, the body is streamlined. Streamlined means what? Both the ends will be pointed, and in the middle you can see what? Thick part. Understood? And they will have a tail for the movement. Okay, and when you see, they are cold-blooded organisms. What do you mean by cold-blooded? Their body temperature varies according to the surrounding environment. Understood? So if you keep the fish in a hot climate, okay, then what will happen? They shows the temperature of the atmosphere. And if it is being taken to some other region where there is winter or winter climate is existing, there it shows the the temperature of that particular surrounding. And if we are said to be what? We are said to be homeothermic or warm-blooded animals, because our body temperature is constant. If we go to any polar region or to the near to the equator, our body temperature will be same. Understood? So like this, what? The temperature of the body remains constant in where? In warm-blooded animals. But Pisces are what? Pisces are cold-blooded organisms. What do you mean by cold-blooded organism? Their body temperature varies. There is no constant temperature. Okay, and their heart is two-chambered. Okay, so two-chambered heart they are having. They lay eggs, or sometimes they give birth to young ones also. Okay, so their body or their skeleton is made up of cartilage or bones. Okay, so on this basis, the fishes or Pisces are divided into again cartilaginous fishes and bony fishes. Okay, so endoskeleton can be, or the skeleton can be made up of either bone or cartilage. Understood? So example of cartilaginous fishes are shark. Okay, and bones examples are rohu, tuna, etc. Understood? So Pisces, you understood? These are the group of fishes. Okay, the classes of fishes only, and they are aquatic organisms, and their bodies having what? Scales. Scales are there in them. Okay, and the respiratory organs are gills, as they take the dissolved oxygen from the water. Okay, body is streamlined, and they are having what? Fins and muscular tail for movement, and they are cold-blooded organisms. Okay, their heart is how many chambered? Two-chambered heart they are having. Okay, and their skeleton is made up of either bones or cartilage. Okay, so on that basis again they are classified into bony fishes and the cartilaginous fishes. So can be asked, what are the aquatic adaptations of fishes? Okay, so aquatic adaptations, what all you will say? You can say that the body is streamlined, they are having scales. Okay, then fins and tail, which help in the movement. Okay, gills are there for the respiration, and the endoskeleton is made up of bones or cartilage. Okay, so there are two different types of fishes. They are based on the type of the endoskeleton they possess. That is, cartilaginous fishes and bony fishes. Okay, so we'll continue in the next class. So till this, whatever we have studied, just go through that. It is very, very important. Even though it's not coming for your examination, this chapter is very important because it can be useful in your further studies. That is, in the next year also you should know about the classification. Okay, so hope this much is very clear to you. We'll stop here.